welcome back to Shakesyear. We are still working on Henry VIII, and today we get to hear from Buckingham in Act 2, Scene 1, which I believe is his last scene because he's been sentenced to death for being a traitor. And that's basically the catch-up that you need to have at this point. We got to hear from his surveyor, who was basically like his real estate agent, who testified in front of the king that he had heard Buckingham say that Buckingham was going to get the throne and King Henry and his lineage would never prosper, that sort of a thing, and this was all because of the prophecies of some crazy monk. So by the end of the surveyor's testimony, King Henry is convinced that Buckingham is also a traitor, and so he has to die. And at the beginning of this scene, we had a couple gentlemen talking about it, and one of them was also kind of bummed because he thought that Buckingham had been like a decent guy, but no, there was enough damning evidence that he has been sentenced to death. So after the little exchange between the two gentlemen, Buckingham is brought in to receive his sentence, give his last words, that sort of a thing, and the two gentlemen are like, let's sit back and talk. And before I launch into the monologue itself, I just wanted to share why this one is kind of particularly beautiful, even though it's really sad. You've probably, if anybody has ever talked to you about Shakespeare before, if you had to take a class in it, probably the one thing you remember is iambic pentameter, whether or not you remember what iambic pentameter is. Iambic pentameter means it just deals with the rhythm of the speech. It's a da-dun, 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 da-dun. And it very closely approximates natural human English speech to be talking in ba-dum, 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 ba-dum type of a rhythm. And Shakespeare wrote that way. He wrote in verse lines that are usually 5 iambs long, and they all go da-dum, 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 da-dum. And one of the interesting things that Shakespearean scholars do is they look at the rhythm of various passages or the rhythm of speech that comes through, because sometimes he will deviate from that. And as an actor, it's a fascinating tool to dig into the character's mindset. If all of their lines are very regular, but then they go off rhythm and do something weird, then you have to think about why they had used those words instead of something to fit into the regularity of it. What is it that's throwing them off of this normal pattern? And one of the very common things that will happen is in a line, instead of having like a set of 10, so da-dun, 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 or sorry, da-dun, 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 done. You might have an 11. I call them 11s. I'm sure that the proper term, I think in the proper term, they're feminine endings as opposed to masculine endings or something along those lines. But having that one extra syllable at the end can mean that a character is perturbed or depressed or upset or something like that. And what's interesting about this speech that you're going to hear right now is that the majority of it, the lines have 11 like syllables or 11 little bits. They all end with this little bit that drops off the end of it, which says to me, Buckingham knows he's going to die. He's trying to be gracious about it, but he doesn't really want to be. There are a couple of lines that are regular iambic pentameter, and they are some of the more hopeful lines in here, and you will hear them because you will get used to the way that it sounds to hear these 11s, to hear the drop off at the end of every line. You'll be able to hear it, and you can hear that it's sad and it's a downer, and it makes this speech so beautiful, the way that the rhythm works out in it. So anyway, Buckingham comes in and he gets to say, "All good people, you that thus far have come to pity me, hear what I say, and then go home and lose me. I have this day received a traitor's judgment, and by that name must die. Yet heaven bear witness, and if I have a conscience, let it sink me, even as the axe falls, if I be not faithful. The law, I bear no malice for my death. That is done upon the premises but justice. But those that sought it, I could wish more Christians. Be what they will, I heartily forgive them. Yet let 'em look their glory not in mischief, nor build their evils on the graves of great men. For then my guiltless blood must cry against 'em. For further life in this world I ne'er hope, nor will I sue, although the king have mercies more than I dare make faults. You few that loved me, and dare be bold to weep for Buckingham, his noble friends and fellows, whom to leave is only bitter to him, only dying. Go with me like good angels to my end, and as the long divorce of steel falls on me, make of your prayers one sweet sacrifice, and lift my soul to heaven. Lead on in God's name. Ah! Ugh! It kills me. It kills me because it's so... He's being regular in his irregularity because it's an irregular circumstance wherein he has to say to people, I forgive you for killing me even though I'm innocent. Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's lovely, and it makes me sad. Anyway, we get to hear a little bit more from him tomorrow. I thought about putting the pieces together, but I felt like they were separate beats, separate moments, and this one I wanted to talk about the rhythm of it. But we get to hear a little bit more from Buckingham before he dies tomorrow. But yeah, it's these little things. It's these little things like making the rhythm of this speech be off that makes Shakespeare's writing so brilliant, I think, and so in tune with human nature. Anyway, I'm gonna stop geeking out and I'll see you tomorrow for more. Mwah.